Cambridge International School, the SUA, a vision inspired by excellence. Hello, students. This is Kamaljeet Sharma, your accountancy teacher. This session is related with the subject of accountancy for grade 11th commerce. Dear students, today we will start revising our chapter number 5, that is accounting equation. Dear students, now we got familiar with certain accounting terms like assets, liabilities, capital, revenue, expenses, etc. Also, by now, we must have realized that business and businessman are distinct and business is a separate entity. In this topic, we will study that there is a predefined relation among assets, liabilities, and capital which never gets disturbed despite of innumerable business transactions. In other words, we can say that total of assets is always equals to total of liabilities and capital, and this relation remains intact despite lot of transactions taking place in the business. We can write this relation as assets equals to liabilities plus capital. Before analyzing this relation, we will once again go through the meanings of terms like assets, liabilities, and capital. Assets, those valuable items which are owned by the business and help in smooth running of the business are called assets. The term asset is of wider importance. It includes those items that can easily be converted in cash and items which are helping the business in generating the revenue. Assets are of following types. The first one is fixed assets. Those assets which are acquired for long term and help in smooth running of the business are called fixed assets. Examples of fixed assets are plant and machinery, land and building, leaseholds, furniture, vehicles, patents, copyrights, and trademarks, etc. Next one is current assets. Assets which are purchased for the purpose of reselling and which can easily be converted in cash are called current assets. These assets keep on changing in a very short period of time. Examples of current assets are cash, bank balance, debtors, bills receivable, stock, etc. Next type of asset is tangible assets. Those assets which can be touched and seen are called tangible assets. Tangible assets can be fixed as well as current assets. Next is intangible assets. Assets which cannot be seen and touched are called intangible assets. Examples of intangible assets are patents, trademarks, goodwill, prepaid expenses, accrued incomes, etc. Next is nominal assets. As the name suggests, these type of assets have non-real value and existence. Basically, these assets represent expenditure which is likely to benefit the business in more than one accounting year. Let us take an example. If a business spends rupees 50,000 on advertisement and expects its benefit will flow for 4 years, in such a case, rupees 50,000 will not be treated as an expense for the first year, but rupees 12,500, that is 50,000 is to be spread over in 4 years. So after dividing 50,000 with 4, we'll get 12,500. This 12,500 shall be treated as an expense for the first year, while rupees 37,500 will be shown in the balance sheet and will be treated as nominal asset. In the same way, rupees 12,500 will be treated as an expense for the second year and rupees 25,000 will be shown in balance sheet and so on. So we can say that rupees 37,500 in the first year and rupees 25,000 in the second year are shown in the balance sheet pending allocation as an expense and have no real value. Other examples of nominal assets are discount on issue of debentures, preliminary expenses on formation of company, etc. Now, we will revise the term liabilities. In the balance sheet, there are two sides, asset side and liabilities side. In liabilities side, both internal and external liabilities are shown. But in this point, we will study about external liabilities only. An external liability represents the amount payable to outsiders, outstanding payments for credit purchases to creditors, outstanding wages and salaries, pending repayment against loans, etc., are examples of external liabilities. External liabilities can be long term as well as short term in nature. The next term is capital, amount which is brought in by the businessman to commence the business and at any later stage is called capital. When profits are earned by the business, there is an increase in the capital, but in case of losses, capital is reduced. Also, when the businessman withdraws some amount for his personal purposes, then there is a reduction in the capital invested in business. Let us now analyze the accounting equation. Accounting equation is assets equals to capital or liabilities. We can also represent it as capital is equals to assets minus liabilities, or liabilities are equals to assets minus capital. As we have already mentioned that this equation never gets disturbed despite number of transactions. This is because every transaction affects two accounts. These two accounts may be of assets account. In this case, one account will get increased while other account will get reduced. For example, if furniture is acquired on cash, then there will be increase in the furniture account while cash account will stand reduced. On the other hand, if one account represents assets and other account represents liabilities, then in case of a transaction, either both the accounts will stand increased or both the accounts will stand reduced. We can understand this with the help of an example. Suppose Mohan is planning to start a business. In this case, there will be no equation because there is no business and there is no accounting. Now, suppose that Mohan starts business with rupees 1 lakh. In this case, there is an increase in cash balance by rupees 1 lakh and capital account also comes into existence with rupees 1 lakh. So, in this case, the accounting equation will be as follows. Assets represented by the cash is rupees 1 lakh. Capital that is invested by the owner, that is Mohan, rupees 1 lakh. There are no liabilities till date. So here cash is the only assets. So we can see here assets are equal to liabilities plus capital, 1 lakh each. Now we will study the effect of change in the value of any one of the component of the accounting equation on the other components. First, we will start with increase in assets. If due to any business transaction there is an increase in the assets, it will have the effect as follows. There are three effects. Number one, any other asset will get reduced with the same amount. Or the second one is any liability will get increased with the same amount. Or third one is capital will stand increased with the same amount. We take an example of first case where there is increase in one asset while decrease in another asset. Suppose Mohan purchased goods worth rupees 40,000 in cash. Then in this case there is an increase in stock of goods, which is a current asset, while there is decrease in the cash balance, which is also a current asset. The effect of this transaction of the equation is as follows. The Our old equation is assets is equals to capital plus liabilities 1 lakh each on both the sides. Due to this transaction of rupees 40,000, the cash will reduced by rupees 40,000 and stock will increase by rupees 40,000. So the new equation would be cash rupees 60,000, stock rupees 40,000 is equals to capital of rupees 1 lakh. There is no liability till date. Therefore, assets are also 1 lakh and liabilities plus capital also rupees 1 lakh. Both sides each 1 lakh rupees. Second case is when there is increase in assets while increase in liabilities also. Now suppose Mohan purchases goods from Keshav on credit for rupees 25,000. In this case, the stock of goods will be increased by 25,000 while creditors will also stand increased with the same amount. The effect of this transaction on the accounting equation will be, our old equation is cash rupees 60,000, stock 40,000 is equals to capital rupees 1 lakh. There is no liability till date, but with the effect of this transaction of purchasing goods on credit, it will increase the stock with rupees 25,000 and also increases the creditors, means external liabilities would also increase. So the new equation would be there is no effect on cash, it remains 60,000, but since stock we have purchases the stock, so stock will added up to 25,000. The new stock will become 65,000. Capitals remains the same and there is increase in the external liability, that is rupees 25,000. So the final equation is assets are 1 lakh 25,000, capital rupees 1 lakh and external liability stands at rupees 25,000. Third effect is increase in assets and increase in capital. Suppose Mohan introduces rupees 20,000 in the business as additional capital. In this case, the cash balance will increased by 20,000 and capital will also increase by same amount. The effect of this transaction on the equation will be, we have an old equation where cash is 60,000, stock is 65,000, capital 1 lakh and liabilities rupees 25,000. With the introduction of additional capital of rupees 20,000, the cash will increases with rupees 20,000 and the new balance of cash would be 80,000. Stock will remain the same because this transaction have no effect over the stock. But since additional capital is invested by the proprietor, it must be added to the existing capital. The old capital is rupees 1 lakh and now it will become 1 lakh 20,000 and the liabilities remains the same because due to this transaction there will be no effect on the liabilities. So the final accounting equation would be assets rupees 1 lakh 45,000, capital rupees 1 lakh 20,000 and liabilities rupees 25,000. Now the second case is when there is increase in liabilities. If there is an increase in any liability due to any transaction, then it may have the following effects. First is increase in amount of any asset by the same amount, then decrease in the amount of any liability by the same amount, or decrease in amount of capital by the same amount. When there is increase in assets due to increase in liability. Suppose Mohan takes a loan of rupees 30,000 from the bank. In such a situation, the liabilities of the business will increase by rupees 30,000 because this amount will have to be repaid to the bank. On the other hand, the assets of the business will also increase in the form of cash. Now the equation will be as under. Old equation was cash is rupees 80,000, stock 65,000, capital 1 lakh 20,000 and creditor rupees 25,000. With this transaction, there will be an inflow of cash into the business. Cash will increase by rupees 25,000 and the new balance of cash would be 1 lakh 10,000. Stock remaining the same 65,000. Capital also remains same at rupees 120,000. Creditors same 25,000. But there is increase in another liability in the form of bank loan of rupees 30,000. So the final accounting equation, assets rupees 1,75,000 is equals to capital 120 and liabilities rupees 55,000. The next case is when there is increase in one liability and corresponding decrease in other liability. Now suppose that Mohan accepts a bill of rupees 10,000 of his creditor, Sohan. After this transaction, the creditors of the business will get reduced by 10,000 and other liability will get created in the form of bills payable for the same amount. Now the equation will be, we have an old equation of cash rupees 110, stock rupees 65, capital 1,20,000, creditors 25,000 and bank loan of rupees 30,000. With this transaction, the creditors would reduce by rupees 10,000. Creditor means a liability will decrease. So there is a deduction of rupees 10,000 from the value of creditors. The old creditors are rupees 25,000. After deduction of rupees 10,000, it comes to rupees 15,000. But there is an increase in another liability in the form of bills payable of rupees 10,000. So new equation would be cash remaining the same 1,10,000, stock 65,000, capital rupees 120. There is a change in the value of creditors and the value of bills payable with rupees 10,000. Bank loan remaining the same. Creditors would become 15,000 and there is another liability increases in the form of bills payable of rupees 10,000. So the final equation would be assets 175,000 and capital 1,20,000, liabilities 55,000. The next case is when there is increase in one liability and decrease in the amount of capital by the same amount. Suppose there is an expense outstanding, say salary due, but not paid rupees 2,000. After this transaction, capital will reduce by rupees 2,000 and increase in another liability in the form of outstanding salary. Now the equation will be, we have an old equation where cash is rupees 1,10,000, stock 65,000, capital 1,20,000, creditors 15,000, bank loan 30,000, bills payable 10,000. With this transaction of salary due but not paid, the effect would be there is a deduction of rupees 2,000 from capital because this is an expense. Expenses once incurred but not paid become our liabilities, but expenses must be deducted from the capital. So the old capital is 1,20,000 and after deduction of rupees 2,000 as an outstanding salary, the new balance of capital would be rupees 1,18,000. And there is another liability in the name of outstanding salary of rupees 2,000 will be added on the liability side. So therefore the final accounting equation would be rupees 1,75,000 assets is equals to capital of rupees 1,18,000 and liabilities of rupees 57,000. Let's start with income. Income or profit. The main source of income for a business is from sale of goods and also services. It can be from other sources like rent, commission, discount, etc. The total sale price is not the income of the business because there is always a cost of those goods which are sold. So, the amount of income is the difference between the sale value and the cost of goods sold. For example, some goods costing rupees 6,000 are sold for rupees 7,000, then it will be said that the business has earned a profit or income of rupees 1,000. But this with this transaction, the cash balance will increase by rupees 7,000, while the stock of goods will decrease by rupees 6,000 and the capital of the business will go up by rupees 1,000 because the owner of the business took the whole profits earned by the business. So the final effect of the transaction is increase in capital with rupees 1000 and increase in asset with rupees 1000. That is increase in cash 7000 minus decrease in stock of rupees 6000. So it can be said that with the profit there is an increase in capital, and at the same time there is also an increase in the amount of assets. But sometimes, instead of increase in the amount of assets, there can be a decrease in the amount of liabilities. Suppose a businessman purchased goods worth rupees 10,000 on credit from Keshav, and hence Keshav become a creditor for the business. Now suppose the businessman pays the amount of rupees 9500 to Keshav in full settlement and earns a discount of rupees 500. In this case, the cash balance of business will come down by 9500 and creditors will decrease by rupees 10,000. Here, 500 will be an income for the business. In this transaction, there is a decrease in both assets and liabilities. Cash in the form of assets and liabilities, there is a decrease in creditors. But decrease in liabilities is more than decrease in asset by rupees 500. So it can also be said that after earning the profits, there can be a decline in the liabilities with corresponding increase in capital. Next is accrued or earned income. Accrued means earned but not received. In accounting, accrued income means that income which has been earned or the right to receive it has been procured, but the same has not really been received. Suppose Mahesh runs a cloth business. Mahesh enters into an agreement with Maftlal and Company, according to which he will receive a commission of 10% on the total sales achieved by his business for the year ended 31st March 2019. But according to the agreement, this commission will be paid to Mahesh after 3 months from the end of the year 31st March 2019, that is in June 2019. For the year ended 31st March 2019, Mahesh achieves a sales of rupees 5 lakh. The books of the business are closed in 31st March every year. Now at the time of closing the books of account of the business, rupees 50,000 will be shown as commission accrued or earned and will be an income for the year ended 31st March 2019. Since against this accrued income, the business will receive cash or check in June 2019, so this earned commission will also be an asset for the business. Since rupees 50,000 is an income, so it will increase the capital of the business also. So we can say that an income which is earned and received and which is earned but not received will always increase the assets as well as capital. The next is unaccrued. The better word is unearned income. It is the income received in advance. Any income which has been received but has not been earned is called unaccrued or unearned income. For example, Suresh enters into an agreement on 25th March 2019 for renting out a part of his business building to a company. According to this agreement, the company will occupy a part of this building from 1st July 2019 at a monthly rent of rupees 2000, but will pay advance rent for 3 months, that is July, August and September, on the date of agreement, that is on 25th March 2019. Now, at the time of closing the books of account of the business of Suresh, this advance rent of rupees 6000 will not be an income for the year ended 31st March 2019, but will be an unaccrued or unearned income. Any unaccrued or unearned income represents a liability because any promise against which it has been received has not been satisfied. In our example, rupees 6,000 is a liability because the company has not occupied the part of the building in the year 2019, and this amount may have to be refunded if the agreement is cancelled. So assets will go up by this amount because cash will come in the business in the form of advance rent. On the other hand, liabilities of the business will also go up by the amount. So any income which has been received but has not been earned will always increase the assets and liabilities but not the capital. Now it's turn for expenses. There are many expenses which need to be incurred in running a business. Examples of some expenses are salaries, wages, telephone expenses, electricity expenses, interest on loan, printing and stationery, advertisement expenses, etc. Expenses always lowers the profits or increase the losses of the business. So with decline in profits, capital is also decreased and assets of the business also go down where cash is paid for these expenses. Next is outstanding expenses. Any expense which ought to have been paid but remains still to be paid is called outstanding expense. That is, expenses due but not paid. For example, salaries for the month of March 2019, which will be paid on say 7th of April 2019, will be an outstanding expense. This is because services of the staff for the month of March 2019 have been availed by the business, but the payment has not been made. Any outstanding expense is a liability for the business. Since outstanding expenses are expenses, so they lower down the volume of profits and hence capital also decrease. On the other hand, liabilities of the business also go up. But remember that outstanding expenses do not in any way affect the assets because no cash is involved in such cases. Next one are prepaid expenses, that is expenses paid in advance. Any expense against which payment has been made but benefit has not been availed either fully or partly is called a prepaid expense. For example, a businessman takes an insurance cover for the goods lying in his godown, that is warehouse, on 1st October 2019 for 1 year. Students, the insurance policy will always be for an year in India and pays rupees 600 as insurance premium has been paid for 1 year. In this case, premium has been paid for 1 year up to 30th September 2020. But suppose the accounting year of the business ends on 31st March 2019, only rupees 150 is an expense for the year 2019, while balance of rupees 450 will be treated as an expense for the year 2020 because the benefit of that expense will flow in the year 2020. So rupees 450 will be treated as an prepaid expense. Since insurance expenses which pertains to the year 2019 is only rupees 150, so capital will stand reduced by this amount and not by 600. On the other hand, assets will come down by rupees 600, that is cash, because payment has been made for this amount, and rupees 450, which is a prepaid expense, is going to benefit the business in the year 2020, will be an asset to get benefit in terms of cash or right to anything is called an asset. There are some special expenses also. The first one is interest on capital. Interest on capital represents that part of expense which is allowed to the businessman as interest for putting his money in the business. This expense is not normally paid in cash to the businessman, but it is added to his capital and hence increases the capital. On the other hand, it is an expense, so it reduces the volume of profits and capital is automatically reduced. So there is no ultimate effect of interest on capital on the accounting equation. The second one is interest on drawings. interest on drawings is the amount charged by the business on the amounts that are withdrawn by the businessman from the business for his personal uses. Since this is an income for the business, so it increases the capital. On the other hand, interest on drawings is not collected from the businessman in cash, but this is subtracted from his capital. So overall effect of interest on drawing on capital is nullified. The third one is depreciation. There are lots of fixed assets into the business which are used. The value of these assets tends to decrease by passage of time. So in order to keep up their values in pace with their real values, that is market value, depreciation is provided on the assets, on the fixed assets. Depreciation is a non-cash expense because no cash is involved. We are not paying the amount of depreciation to any third person outside the business. Since this is an expense, so it reduces the capital and reduces the values of assets also. So let's recap the treatment of incomes and expenses. First of all, we will discuss about the incomes. Students, if there is income earned and received, the effect on this transaction on the accounting equation would be increase in cash and increase in the capital. The second one is income earned but not received. The effect of this transaction over the accounting equation is increase in assets and increase in capital. The third one is income received but not earned. In this case, the effect would be increase in cash, that is increase in asset, and increase in liabilities also, because income received but not earned is a liability. It is the income received in advance for the work to be done in the future. So again, I'll discuss income earned and received, increase in cash and increase in capital. Income earned but not received, increase in asset, increase in capital. Income received but not earned, that is increase in cash and increase in liabilities. Now come to expenses. Expenses if paid. The effect on the accounting equation would be decrease in cash because expenses are paid in cash. It will also reduce the capital, decrease the capital. The second one is expenses outstanding. Expenses when due but not paid become outstanding expenses. Since expenses are incurred, so it will increase our liabilities. But expenses also have effect on over the capital, so it will reduce the capital. So effect would be increase in liabilities and decrease in capital. Next is expenses prepaid. Expenses when paid in advance are called expenses prepaid. Since cash is paid, so it will reduce the cash. But the benefit to be flow in the near future, it is treated as an asset also. So the effect would be decrease in cash and increase in asset. So I'm again summing up the treatment of expenses. Expenses if paid decrease in cash and decrease in capital. Expenses when outstanding increase in liability, decrease in capital. Expenses when paid in advance, that is prepaid, decrease in cash and increase in assets. Then there are some special expenses which we have discussed in the previous slide. Number one is interest on capital. Since interest on capital is not paid to the proprietor, so it will have no effect on the accounting equation. Interest on drawing is also an income for the business, but we are not receiving the interest on drawings from the owner, from the proprietor, so it will also have no effect over the capital. Depreciation. Depreciation is the reduction in the value of assets due to normal wear and tear and expected obsolescence, means outdated in technology. So depreciation will have effect decrease in asset and decrease in capital. I repeat once again, the treatment of special expenses. If there is interest on capital, no effect on capital. Then interest on drawing, no effect on capital. Then depreciation, decrease in assets and decrease in capital. Dear students, in this session we have studied about the basic concept of accounting equation after revising about assets and liabilities. In this session we have also learned about the types of assets. We have also get to know about the effect of a business transaction over the accounting equation. Now it's homework time. Dear students, try to understand the basic concepts of this chapter. Then try to solve some illustrations, means some examples which are given in your book Double Entry Bookkeeping by T.S. Garewal. The name of the chapter is Accounting Equation, chapter number 5. You can also try to solve some questions from NCERT, and students write all this homework in your homework notebook. So this is the end of this session. So students, do stay home, stay safe, but study regularly. Thank you. In the next session, we will continue our next topic. Till then, dear students, to stop the COVID 19, stay home. If you don't think about yourself, think about your loved ones. So stay home, please, but study regularly.